Hello folks. This video is brought on by some thoughts that I've had recently concerning the packing and shipping of these multi-mixers, as I've purchased several of them online, and I've had a lot of them shipped to me, and they come in all kinds of packed configurations, and most of them, if not all of them, could have used some improvement in their packing methods. And I'll just kind of, this video is going to cover a lot of that material. You're going to see some examples of me unboxing some of my precious finds on the and from off the internet. And basically, these machines are vintage machines from back in the 40s and the 50s, and we don't want them damaged, particularly when they're already in poor condition. They need some restoration, or they need some work, or maybe you've paid $400 or $500 for one, and it looked good when you saw it in its listing, and then when you received it, the darn thing was all damaged up, or bent. Something was wrong with it because of the way it was packed. So this video is beginning a series that I'm going to make regarding multi-mixers, particularly in buying and selling them online. What to look for, what to not look for, evaluations, how to place one in a timeline, with the order of manufacture, perhaps listing them or showing. And I'll give some examples of a progression in a manufacturing timeline between some of these machines, because they all basically had the same model number on the 95B. And basically, there are a lot of revisions of it. Yeah, but there's no indication on the labeling or anything on the machine itself to tell you that it's a different revision of the model. And I think the company did a poor job of that, but they just stuck with the 95B as far as that being the model name, and then they kept on with it. So I don't know how many videos have been this, maybe 3 or 4 different videos, and there's a little series of what to look for. And then I'm going to be making some videos of the restorations as they go along. And the pictures that you see here now at the beginning of this video are of a restored 95B that I did. It's one of the older models, and I think this is an example of what one should look like when it's been restored, or at least what it should how clean it should be. This clean, it should be this nice, it should be painted well. And I think there's a lot of slop being sold on the internet at extremely high prices. So I wanted to make this series so that people can be aware of what to avoid and how to dodge a bullet here when you buy one of these things off the internet, because it can be hit and miss. You could be shocked when you get the machine in. It didn't look as good as you thought it would, or maybe you paid $400 or $500 for it, and yet you didn't get a $400 or $500 machine. And this is what I wanted to make this series of videos for. So enjoy this, and from here at this point on, you're going to see examples of packing and shipping, and the woes and the bewares and all that kind of stuff. And I hope you enjoy this. Okay, this is another multi-mixer that I received in the mail, and I'm slightly worried. It's in a small box comparative to, say, this box that this multi-mixer came in, which I have unpackaged earlier. And so you can see the size difference in the box, especially if I lower this thing a little bit. Let me lower it a little bit, and you can maybe get a little bit better idea of the size box, the difference in the size of boxes. Thank you. Now I'm going to go ahead and open this thing. Dull blade. Change that, don't I? Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Alright, bubble wrap. Now, yeah, he told me he was going to do this. Remove the lid, bubble wrap the lid. However, it was down in all those spindles, if that took any. So this thing has some issues, I could tell already without even taking it out of the box. I see some, let's see if you can see it here. I'll move up and reposition the camera and I'll zoom in a little on that area there. The stainless steel. Around here there's a dent here and a flat spot right here. And I think this flat spot occurred in shipping. I see a little rubbing here. That pisses me off. You should never pack something. Look at it. There's absolutely no packing in this box. Absolutely none. Zero. It's an empty box that someone just stuck the machine in and shipped it here. You know, all they did was put some bubble wrap around the lid, this lid, and that was it. That was it. So this thing's going to be beat up, and it pisses me off. Yeah, I mean, I can't replace these stainless steel here. This is a major, major, major concern. FYI, if you ever ship one of these machines, if anyone ever ships one to you, and this is what I'm going to do from now on, it should be shipped in an upright position because there are oilers on the spindles, and when I say oilers, there's little, and I'll show you here in a minute, there's little places where you can insert and shoot oil inside. There's two oilers on the motor, one on top, one on bottom. This photo illustrates the location of the oilers. These oilers are not sealed, and they will leak if you lay this thing on its side or on its back. And the oilers on the motor are very similar. Fit to shipping it like this. If you were going to lay it on its back, I wouldn't suggest laying it on its side because, you know, like that, all the weight of this machine is very heavy, is on this stainless steel housing shroud, and that's how it gets beat up. This, and I think I want to go back and look in the eBay pictures and see if that dent was even there. If it wasn't that big. This flat spot certainly wasn't there. It's pushed up. Anyway, the problem with shipping it upright, you've got to put a support between the base and this motor housing area to keep the weight of all this from bending it here, because it'll bend here. In the Multimixer Owner's Manual, Operating Instructions and Parts List, you'll find a short mention about putting that support, that inner support, between the motor and the base when you ship the Multimixer. You can download this Multimixer Owner's Manual from the internet. You can just simply do a Google search and you can find it. So you should make this insert by maybe stacking several layers of heavy cardboard together and cutting it in a block shape that's just the right distance to fit tightly between the base and the bottom of that motor shroud. And if not, maybe combine or make it out of a heavy-duty styrofoam. Styrofoam in and of itself is probably not strong enough. It will probably squash the styrofoam if it ever gets hit and go ahead and bend the base anyway. So you need to put some vertical pieces of cardboard in there to give it strength, and maybe sandwich that between styrofoam. And I have some machines like this. This one, this green one here, it was shipped in an upright position like this without a support between the base and the motor, and it did get slightly bent. It did get bent. That's just too much weight, and of course these
post office people, UPS people, they just kind of drop the box. You know, it doesn't matter how heavy it is. They're just going to drop the box. And all the way to that motor is going to come down on the base of the machine. And of course, it's going to dent the machine. Here, all the way to the machine came down on the stainless steel spindle housing up here.
Example of how not to pack a multi-mixer for shipping. Folks, peanuts and shredded paper, confetti are not viable solutions for packing something this heavy. The weight of the machine is going to just thrash around in the box, and it's going to move all of that lightweight material to the side and until it finds an edge of the box, side of the box, and just gravitate to wherever, you know, gravity's pulling it, and you know, it's going to get damaged. So you need to make sure that you put in your boxes packing material that's going to support the weight of the machine, something that's a little dense and all of that. Now, these machines are already heavy. Those sorts of packing materials are heavy. You just need to realize that it's going to be heavy. So if shipping cost is a concern for you, then you know, you're just going to have to be a little smarter about how you pack it, and yet pack it to where it doesn't get damaged, because people are going to return it to you when it gets damaged. And then you're going to have to deal with the post office. The post office isn't going to insure it. Even if you've paid for the insurance, they will not honor the insurance if it was improperly packed. And they're going to look at the box, they're going to look at the packing materials inside, and they're going to decide right away, was this thing, you know, packaged properly? And you know, if it isn't, they're not going to honor that insurance for you. You're just going to have to eat the cost. And you know, nothing's more disgruntling than having to pay shipping two ways. You know, you pay the shipping to send it to somebody, and then it's damaged on arrival, and then they demand their money back, and then they're not going to pay for it to be shipped back to you. You're going to have to pay again for shipping to have the item returned to you. So be careful when you pack things. Pack it carefully, pack it thoughtfully, and consider the weight of the machine. And the way people are going to handle this box during shipping. Because it's heavy, they're going to be a little bit lazier with it. They're going to drop it. They're not going to, you know, want to carry it without, you know, just letting it slide off the back of the truck and kind of falling onto a dolly or something. You know, they're going to treat it like it's something that can't be damaged, because, you know, oh, this is, you know, something pretty heavy. It's probably built pretty solid inside there. I don't know what they're thinking, but be careful when you pack these things. Now look at this thing. Notice how it slid, regardless of all the packing material that was around it, how it slid off to the side and banged up against the side of the box. I'm going to show you a picture of the box and show you how that box was damaged from the outside, and then I'll show you the damage of the machine on the inside, and then you can see what I'm talking about. This is another video example of how people choose to pack their multi-mixers. This one is, you could tell by the size of the box, a rather large box. There's a lot of packing material inside. I imagine they probably could have got away with a box about 2/3 this size. However, I will take any day of the week an overkill packaged multi-mixer than an underpackaged multi-mixer, because this one came to me without any damage in shipping. Okay, now notice the packing material of choice here. This is a heavy paper, and it was crumpled up and packed all around the machine, underneath it, inside it, on the sides of it, on top of it, and you can tell that this thing did not shift at all in shipping. The machine remained central to the box where they had placed it in, and it stayed there because that heavy packing paper kept it from moving. Now, I don't know, you know, styrofoam, things like styrofoam, this heavy paper. There's some other examples of packing materials that are heavier. And like I said before, avoiding the stuff that's in small pieces, like the peanuts, the packing peanuts, the confetti, the shredded paper, anything, and those little air pillows and stuff like that. That's not suitable for this sort of heavy machine in chipping. So choose something that's heavier, a little more denser, a little more dense. I don't know if denser is a word. Something dense that's going to keep this thing from shifting around.